Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your waiting. I'm Jason from CLO-SET team. So welcome again to the CLO-SET Skill Up webinar. Starting from now will be 2025, and that is our first time. And maybe some of you guys already joined our webinar before. Yeah, and today's we will also keep going to share some new features and also some good example of how you can adopt it to your workflow. Yeah. So for today's topic would be the brand and vendor workflow 3D quality check. So let's start it. So in today's webinar, again, we will define it into 3 parts. For the first part, we will introduce the new feature, the CLO-SET 3D quality check tool. And we will do a live demonstration to discover the new feature together. And lastly, we will have the Q&A session, and please feel free to share your question in the chat room. So if you are new to CLO-SET, maybe some of you are the beginner of CLO-SET, please feel free to visit our CLO-SET websites as well, and also as well as the YouTube channel to discover more. And maybe you can also watch our last webinar, the configurator workflow in the YouTube channel. So let's start our topic today would be the 3D quality check via CLO-SET. Yeah, so this is a new tool in CLO-SET we released a few months ago. And this feature is to use for checking the property of the code file automatically. And this tool can be used to detect the incorrect setting inside the code file according to the standard set up by the user in advance. And by using this 3D quality check tool with the other CLO-SET tool, user could streamline the process of the quality checking. So for this tool, it could be adopted in a brand and vendor workflow as one of the scenarios. So let's say at the beginning, the brand can set up the 3D quality check tool as the preparation. And in the meantime, the vendor can start to create the 3D sample according to the brand quality standard. And when the sample is complete, the vendor can upload it to CLO-SET for the QC process. And for the brand side, the user could utilize the tool in the content page to check the 3D sample in details, such as the workmanship, 3D setting, naming conversion, etc. And when issue is found, the brand may contact the vendor in CLO-SET for correcting the sample. So to deeply to investigate how it works practically, so let's directly start the live demo session. First of all, at the beginning, let's assume that we are the 3D specialist of a brand, and we are requesting a vendor to create a design sample in CLO-3D. And we are going to check its quality upon the submission. So as the first step, we need to activate the 3D quality check tool first. So let's go to the company folder and company setting and select content, 3D quality check. And as you can see, we can activate the tool here. Okay, then that is the page where we can set up the requirement. There are categories of properties which could be checked by the tool automatically. So let's set it one by one. For the first one, it would be the 3D quality setting, such as particle distance, skin offset, etc. So let's say the particle distance must be within 3 to 5 mm. Then we could type in 3 to 5 next to particle distance. In the meantime, the active thickness collision must be within 1 mm. Then we type in 1. Okay, then let's come to the second setting, simulation setting. It refers to the setting which would affect the final dripping result, such as the pin, solidify, freeze, etc. So let's say no pattern is strengthened and pinned in the file. Then this time we can type in true next to no strengthen and next to no pin. Okay, then let's come to the third one, material setting, such as fabric, trim, top stitch, etc. Again, let's say the fabric must be created with a specific Pantone or HEX color. Then we can type in that code next to base color fabric. And the fabric must be attached with normal map and roughness map. And we can type in true next to normal map and roughness map. Okay, then come to the next one would be avatar setting. So let's say this sample must be created with a specific avatar, size, etc. Then we can type in that requirement to the options accordingly. Finally, would be the other setting, such as the fill angle, grading, etc. And let's say all the materials and pattern must be named in English. Then we can type in true next to English only. Then let's say the whole report is completed, the requirement is complete. We can click apply to activate the criteria. And as you can see, some of the setting is not completed yet. So for those settings, you can also refer to this PDF guideline. And you can also refer to the CLO 3D quality check guideline in CLO websites to discover the standard of creating a high quality garment. But let's say after the whole setup is complete, we can request the vendor to create this 3D sample accordingly. And they could also submit it under our company workspace afterwards. Okay, so that is the completed sample. And when the sample is ready, we can evaluate it via the tools in the content page. So first of all, we can check the report from the 3D quality check tool. Go to the content page of the 3D sample, and there is a QC label. If it is in red color, which means the sample cannot fulfill our requirement. So click on the label and read the full report. For the properties with the green tick, it means that these properties has reached our requirement, such as the particle distance of the sample is set within 3 to 5 mm. But for the properties which is labeled in red color, it doesn't reach to our standard. So for example, when you click on the details icon next to remove strength, it will show which pattern has strengthened in the file. Or as another example, click on the icon next to fabric roughness map. It will show which fabric has not been attached with roughness map. So you can see which one they need to correct it. And for the properties labeled in gray color, which means this property, we haven't set any requirement yet. But as a remark, this tool is only available to the file from CLO 2024.2 or above. So for the old files, please save it in the latest version in order to use this tool. But anyway, so after we use this report, then secondly, we can check the garment information in the content page. Here we'll show the basic information of the 3D file and to see any point is missed. And we can also check the 3D results by the 3D Live Viewer. For example, we can go to the toolbar bar and click Show Avatar to check the avatar details. For example, the size and pose and garment balance. Our standard is to use the male mannequin in size 38, but this sample is using the size in 40. It doesn't match to our requirement. And when we check the hem, it is not balanced from front to back, which affects the dripping result. So when we turn on, and in the meantime, when we turn on the garment fit map, it will also show that the garment is super tight along the armhole and hem. So those are the things that we need to correct in the next version. Okay, in the meantime, we can check the 3D tag pad. It will show all the names of the materials for checking the naming conversion. You can also click on specific materials and check its location. For example, according to the last report, the left front pocket is strengthened. We can check on the pocket piece and know where it is. So that is the pocket, and we need to correct it as well. Okay, then after the 3D window, we can go to the 2D window. We can check the pattern construction as same as the 2D window in CLO-3D. For example, the grain line of the back panel is rotated towards left, as you can see. In the meantime, some unnecessary segment point is added to the armor hull outline. It must be correct in the next version. So it is how we can use the 2D pattern viewer to check the pattern construction. And as the next step, we can use the configurator to check the materials property in details. So let's click on the configurator. In the configurator, when we click on one of the materials at the left-hand side, it will show the configurator at the right-hand side. So for example, we can check the nylon cover fabric. In the report mentioned, it has not been attached with the roughness map. So we can check the property we set in this file in details. So after the configurator, lastly, we can check the other technical details by the web tab pad. So let's click on the web tab pad. In here, it will show all the technical information, including the garment measurement in 3D. As you can see, all the POM will be listed in these sheets, and the measurement will be highlighted in the 3D window parallelly. So you can see if any measurement is not matched with our standard. So after the whole QC process by those two, we can request our vendor to correct the sample for us. So first of all, at the left-hand side, we can make the score to this file according to our standard. And let's say this file has some mistake, so we mark it X out of 10. Okay, then we can also mark the points of correction by comments and annotation. And as a remark, we can also use the annotation in the 2D window if needed, such as this pattern, the pattern that with the wrong grain line direction. Okay, then once the vendor received the comment, they could correct the sample in CLO according to the QC report and upload it as a new version. Okay, and if this sample is fully corrected, the QC icon will be changed into green color, as you can see, which means it can fulfill our requirement that we set. So the whole live demonstration has been complete, but it is just one of the suggested workflow. So user could customize the usage according to the requirement. And compared to the traditional workflow, as you can see, the adoption of the 3D quality check tool aims to streamline your production workflow and QC process. But as we only do this live demonstration within like 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm pretty sure you guys may already have some questions related to this tool. So let's come to the third part, which is the Q&A session. So please feel free to share your thoughts or your advice or your feedback and also your questions in the chat room, and we can answer it one by one.